do so made him feel a gut twist of worry. "Let's go, Leroy," said Nemo, the unit's crew chief. Then, as he always did, he sang the first few lines of "Get Up Off of That Thang." In the convoluted way of the Army, Ross had been given the nickname Leroy. It had started when some of the platoon had learned a little, way too little, about his silver spoon-in-mouth background. The fancy schools, the Ivy League education, the socially prominent family had all made him fodder for teasing. Nemo had dubbed him Little Lord Fauntleroy. That had been shortened to Leroy, and the name had stuck. "I'm on it," Ross said, striding toward the helipad. He and Ranger would be piloting the bird today. "Good luck with the FNG." FNG stood for fucking new guy, meaning Ross would have a mission virgin on board. He vowed to be nice. After all, if it weren't for new guys, Ross would be here forever. According to the order packet he'd received, his forever was about to end. In a matter of days, he'd be stateside again, assuming he didn't get himself greased today. The FNG turned out to be a girl, a flight medic named Florence Kennedy from Newark, New Jersey. She had that baby-faced determination common to newbies, worn as a thin mask over abject, bowel-melting fear. "What the fuck are you waiting for?" demanded Nemo, striding past her. "Get your ass over to the LZ." She seemed frozen, her face pale with resentment. She made no move to follow Nemo. Ross nailed her with a glare. "Well, what the hell is it?"
"Sir, not fond of the F-word, sir."
Ross let out a short blast of laughter. "You're about to fly into a battle zone and you're worried about that? Soldiers swear, get used to it. Nobody on Earth swears as much as a soldier, and nobody prays as hard. And I don't know about you, but I see no conflict there. Pretty soon you won't either." She looked as though she might cry. He tried to think of something to say to reassure her, but could come up with nothing. When had he stopped knowing how to speak kindly? When he'd grown too numb to feel anything. "Let's go," he said simply, and strode away without looking back. The ground crew chief barked out a checklist. Everyone climbed aboard. Armor and helmets would be donned on the chopper to shave off runtime. Ross received the details through his earpiece while he consulted his lap charts. The call was the type they feared most, victims both military and civilian, enemy still in the area. Apache gunships would escort the medical birds because the red crosses on the nose, underbelly, and each cargo door of the ship meant nothing to the enemy. The crew couldn't let that matter. They had to roll fast. When a soldier on the ground was wounded, he needed to hear one key phrase, dust off his inbound. For some guy bleeding out in the field, the flying ambulance was his only hope of survival. Within minutes, they were beating it northward over the evergreen-covered mountains of Kunar Province, flying at full speed across the landscape of craggy peaks, majestic forests, and silvery rivers. Ross felt tense and jittery, on edge. The constant din of flight ops, along with strict regulations, kept conversation confined to essential matters only over the headsets. The rush into unknown danger was an everyday ordeal, yet he never got used to it. Last mission, he told himself. This is your last mission. Don't blow it. The Korangal Valley was one of the most beautiful places on Earth, also one of the most treacherous. Sometimes the helos encountered surface-to-air missiles, cannonade or tripwires strung between mountain peaks to snag the aircraft. At the moment, the gorgeous landscape erupted with lightning bolts of gunfire and ominous plumes of smoke. Each represented a deadly weapon aimed at the birds. Ross's heart had memorized the interval of delay between spotting the flash and taking the hit. 1, 2, 3 beats of the heart, and something could be taken out. The gunships broke off to fire on the areas blooming with muzzle flashes. The diversion created a lull so the medical choppers could circle down. Ross and Ranger, the other pilot, focused on closing the distance between the bird and the other end of the radio call. Despite the information given, they never knew what might be waiting for them. Half of their flights were for evacuating Afghan civilians and security personnel. The country had lousy medical infrastructure, so sometimes a pickup was for patient transport, combat injuries, accidents, even dog bites. Ross's unit had seen everyone's horrors and ill luck. But judging by the destination, this was not